The Resident Evil 3 remake is here, and it's left a lot of fans of the original like this.
Wait a minute. This isn't my world. Disappointed!
There are good reasons to be disappointed with this game, but I want to address some of the fans' common complaints and give my thoughts on them. I think that the game is good, and there are a few things I need to say that I feel aren't being said. So let's jump into it. Fans of the original seem to dislike that this new edition of Resident Evil 3 is more focused on action and doesn't stick to the survival horror roots of the original. Some have gone so far to compare the opening to a Michael Bay film because it moves at a breakneck speed and has too many explosions. I'm not saying that the opening isn't fast-paced, but I think people forget about the opening cinematic of the original. I feel the internet can become an echo chamber of misinformation, and this is a perfect example. A few people mention this, and it gets repeated so much without anyone actually thinking about the details. I'm surprised so many fans of the original seem to forget the original's opening and how it set the tone for the entire game. The survival horror tone of the first two games made sense. Resident Evil 1 you played as STARS members, but you're trapped in a house and underprepared for what's inside. The survival horror tone reflects what the characters are feeling in that situation. The same goes for Leon and Claire. One is a rookie cop and the other one is just a civilian with a bit of training. My thoughts when I played RE3 for the first time in 1999 were, you're playing as a character who knows what they're up against and they're prepared for it. Because it was the player's third time against these zombies, Capcom knew the horror aspect of them was gone, so the tone of the game shifted to action, and it works because it reflects what Jill's going through. She's less afraid of them, because she knows how they move and has been through worse. The same goes for Carlos. He's a trained soldier in Umbrella's biohazard countermeasure squad, so you as the player shouldn't feel afraid because he's in a situation he's prepared for, and he has the firepower to protect himself. I have to say they did a great job of making the tone match the gameplay in this remake. The dodge mechanic empowers players and makes the zombies feel like less of a threat. And there's enough ammo scattered around that you don't need to be as conservative with your shots as in previous games. You can still get caught by one if you're not paying attention, and it is easy to get overwhelmed. But it still makes taking out zombies really easy, but there's still a sense of dread when you have to fight the main baddie of this game. Out of everything in this game, I think Nemesis is what people were looking forward to the most. Mr. X in RE2 Remake was scary when first introduced, but became more of an annoyance by the time people got back to the police station. Once people realized that fighting him was a waste of resources and that his max speed was actually a bit slower than the player's running speed, he lost most of his scare factor. It just became a game of ring around the police station while I try to move these bookcases. The biggest complaint I hear about Nemesis in this remake is that they ruined him by turning his encounter into scripted events, and Nemesis from the original was random and unpredictable. This is another fact that gets lost in the echo chamber of complaints about this game. So I went back and replayed the original, and guess what? Nemesis absolutely would show up at scripted points in the game. He always shows up in front of the police station. He always jumps through the window once you have the lockpick. I think people's nostalgia goggles blind them from the fact that he was pretty much just on a timer, making it feel as though he was popping in randomly. In the remake, Nemesis shows up once you turn the power on and he bursts through the wall. If you run away, he'll catch up to you quickly, but if you down him, it gives you a little more time. So he works the same as he did in the original, but you can't really tell, because it only lasts for 5 to 10 minutes of gameplay, which brings me to my next point. Even people who love the game still comment on its length, and I have to agree, the game feels criminally short. Early press releases of the game promised that we'd get to explore more of Raccoon City, and that's just not true. The opening section is a linear path that doesn't offer any exploration of the streets, and the streets above the subway are pretty much the area from the demo with an alley, a power station, and a construction site. Capcom really dropped the ball here because I don't think anyone, and I mean anyone, was asking for more sewer levels. It's not only that they gave us a small street level to explore. These levels feel even shorter because you only need to go through these areas once or twice before moving on. Once you get the subway running, it's pretty much a linear path to the hospital. I'm okay with the game being linear, but with less locations to explore, it makes the game feel shorter. If they were going for a faster paced game, they could have at least made it feel longer. Do something like make the train stop at one of the stations you see on the map, and Jill has to go out and find a tool or whatever to get the train moving again. That way we would get more of Raccoon City, we'd get more of Nemesis stalking us, and it would make his encounters feel a little bit more random. I think the game also could have benefited from spending more time on the train, because once it's working and Nemesis immediately blows up the car with all the civilians, I felt nothing for them because I didn't even know how many people were on the subway car to even care. If you did a survey and asked people if they would rather have a few more street levels in RE3 or the entire Resident Evil Resistance game, I think you know what the answer would be. The only time the game really lets you explore a new area is in the hospital. I like how they extended this section and they expanded and updated the lore. There's not much I can say about the last section of the game other than I actually like it more than the original and I think it's great. I want to finish this off by talking about the New Game Plus weapons. Once you beat the game, it unlocks the store and you can purchase these items. One thing about RE2 I didn't like was the New Game Plus weapons you could unlock. The infinite pistol was weak and didn't add much to the game. The submachine gun was fun, but again, it didn't really add that much. Then the rocket launcher and minigun made the game too easy and took away all the challenge. Every time I get an infinite rocket launcher in a game, I go from, oh yeah, bring it on, to, well, okay, I'm kind of bored with this now, in just a few minutes. My favorite of these New Game Plus items is the crafting companion that doubles all crafted ammo, and the assault coins, which increase your damage. This is a cool way to give the player a boost rather than just breaking the game. You can use the guns you like more, and you don't have to worry about ammo as much. The rocket launcher is still here, but it was the last thing I bought because I feel it usually breaks the game for me. And after I bought it, it kinda did. So those are my thoughts on Resident Evil 3 Remake. There are a few things I left out from this video, so let's keep the conversation going in the comments. Did you play Resident Evil 3? Did you play Resident Evil Resistance? What did you think? Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos like this. Stay safe out there, everyone, and I'll see you on the next one.